If you're seeing other creators blow up with videos that look worse than yours, there's more to the story. I've spent the last 11 months growing my channel while watching other creators do everything right and still fail. You're using 2025 strategies in a 2026 game. The rules have changed. So in this video, I'll show you the 4 rules you need to follow to cut through the noise in 2026, why the old playbook is dead, what actually breaks through the noise now, and the hard truth about whether you can sustain this long enough to win. And by the end, you'll know exactly what to prioritize in your next videos. There's advice that dominated every YouTube growth video that's over a year old. And if you watched any of them, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Keywords, search optimization, perfectly crafted descriptions, all the right SEO. Back then, it mattered. Search was how people found new creators. Everyone told you to nail your SEO or you'd never get discovered. So what happened? I watched an interview recently, Colin and Samir talking to Patty Galloway. And for those of you who don't know, Patty is one of the best YouTube strategists out there. Let me play you what he said, because this changed how I see the entire platform.
YouTube is not a video platform. It's a click and watch platform. It's a platform that people have to decide what to view. So when I think about these smaller channels that are growing really quickly, it's usually that they have actually invested more time into ideation.
He nails it. YouTube isn't a video platform. It's a click and watch platform. What that means is you need to be the better choice on someone's homepage. You're sitting right next to their favorite creators, channels they've watched for years, creators with millions of subscribers, and yet you need to be their choice. And here's why this changes everything for you. You're not just making videos anymore, you're making strategic choices about who to compete with. Most creators hear this and they still miss the point entirely. I see it everywhere. Creators going through the motions. They're making consistent content, but they're consistently mediocre and they're just waiting for it to work. I'm doing everything they tell me to do. When you realize you're competing with giants, you start to see what amateur looks like in comparison. So what's the difference between creators who get it and those who don't? Intention. Instead of going through the motions, intention means having a game plan, understanding why you're doing each thing, not just that you should do it. Every decision has a reason. And this is critical because when you go through the motions, you're just adding to the noise. AI is flooding every niche. There is more competition than ever. YouTube is rewarding content that keeps people watching. You need to send clear signals to the algorithm about who you serve. If you're just going through the motions, you're adding to the noise. Creating with intention applies to everything. The strategy you have, the content you make, even how you handle your workflow, which is actually where most creators waste the most time. Now here's what actually matters about SEO. YouTube changed what it pays attention to. When you upload your video now, it processes everything during that upload time, and it creates a transcript. And yeah, that's great for people who like to watch with captions, but what YouTube really cares about is knowing exactly what your video is about. Your description doesn't matter nearly as much as it used to. Your tags are pretty much meaningless. But when you're small, absolutely, go ahead and optimize for those things. It's one of the only ways YouTube can classify you before it runs experiments on your videos. But there are way more important things that you can spend your time on now. And this is the true mechanism of YouTube growth. I call it momentum. You need to move from YouTube doesn't understand me to YouTube does understand me. And to do that, you need to loop through this process enough times until it understands. YouTube runs experiments. It takes one of your videos, sends it to a handful of people, it learns from that, disappears, comes back later, grabs another video, tests again. But if that second video it tests isn't meant for the same person as last time, it gets confused. Wait, I could have sworn this person would have enjoyed this. I guess I'll start over. That's why creating with intention for the same person is everything. If you want the systems and worksheets that I use to create intention with every single video, I give them all away to my newsletter subscribers. There is a link in the description. But intention alone isn't enough. And honestly, most creators waste time on the wrong bottleneck entirely. Before we keep going, you can have all the intention in the world, but if you're spending hours editing shorts instead of making content that actually grows your library, you're fighting the wrong battle. I was stuck here, trying to feed the algorithm with shorts, but every hour I was editing was an hour I couldn't spend building my library. I knew what I should be doing, but I was trapped in the shorts editing bottleneck, and that's why this video is sponsored by Nexus Clips. It turns your long form into shorts automatically, but it actually finds the moments that work as self-contained shorts, not just random clips. And what used to take me hours takes maybe 15 minutes now. Upload, review, tweak, export. And the time it saves pays for itself. If I had to make all of my shorts myself, I wouldn't be able to make weekly content. So you can use code DAVE for 10% off at nexusclips.com, or you can just use the link in the description. All right, so you're creating with intention. Now let me tell you about the biggest mistake I see creators make. And honestly, I made it too. It cost me thousands of subscribers. Everyone dreams about their first viral breakout video. And I can tell you firsthand, it's intoxicating. But let me tell you what happened to a friend of mine. He started a board gaming channel, and he had a video that did incredibly well. Finally, momentum. But here's what happened. The people who found him were disgruntled Magic the Gathering players, and that's not who he wanted to speak to at all. Now, for anything else to do well on his channel, he had to cater to those people. He made a few more videos leveraging his success, but in the end, he decided to stop making content on that topic entirely. That's what happens when you make content without intention. You might get success, but it's the wrong kind. Now you have to undo all of that momentum to course correct. And trust me, I know, I had 8,000 subscribers who all wanted board game and card game design videos. And when I came back and said, hey, I'm not going to make what you want anymore. Instead, I'm going to talk about this other thing that you don't want. I had a lot of upset people, understandably. Look at this. These were my first 5 videos after the pivot. In that same 2-month period, my old board game content, already more than a year old at this point, pulled in 32,000 views with just 3 videos alone. And my new stuff only managed 4,500 views in that same time frame. That's a massive gap. And here's why that matters. YouTube needs to understand who to recommend your videos to. When you create for different people each time, you're training the algorithm to be confused. Because the content I made created a promise I didn't intend to make. Now that doesn't mean you can't change course if you're willing. I did, and if I hadn't got it started before I was ready, I wouldn't be here today. I had to go through that to learn what I needed to grow. All you can do is the best you can with the knowledge you have right now. The channels that succeed are the ones who did it intentionally. Not that they could guarantee a breakout hit, but that they spoke to who they intended. Or at the very least, they were okay with who they found and then they doubled down. When someone watches your video, what do you want them to think? That was a nice video, or I wonder what else they made. That difference is everything. The way you create that I need more feeling is by building a bingeable library. When you create for the same person consistently and solve the same problem, they can watch all your stuff. And this is critical because the bigger your library you build over time, the better this works in your favor. Every video builds on the data from the last. One viral video is not enough to break through the noise. You need a library that sends a clear signal about who you serve. And I'll show you exactly how I set up my end screens to encourage binging at the end of this video. But building a library is only half the battle. There's something happening right now that changes who actually survives on this platform. AI is flooding every niche right now. The tools are getting better every day, and it's only accelerating. Information isn't scarce anymore, and that changes what actually matters. Let me share something with you that bugs the crap out of me. Have you ever watched content from someone and it just felt soulless? Picture a thumbnail. How I made 10K with a shocked face and a money emoji. You click, and it's just a generic list of affiliate marketing tips anyone could find in 30 seconds on Google. No personal story, no failures, no here's what happened when I actually tried this, just information with a face attached. There are creators out there making stuff that has no heart, no emotion, no shared experience, no real effort in helping others. And I don't know about you, but I can see right through it. I can see that what they truly care about is views. And this is critical because viewers are getting better at spotting what's real versus manufactured. They can see right through it. And don't get me wrong, we all want to grow, but some creators come across like they're doing it at the expense of others. Like they don't actually care about you, they just care that you clicked. Then I look at channels that are growing. I look at my own growth. Here's what I noticed. How you share information is what matters now. I watched a video by Nate Black recently about his take on what to do moving into 2026. And a phrase stuck with me. Authenticity as a skill. I started looking at what was actually connecting. It wasn't the videos with the most information, it was the ones where I shared my failures, the lessons I learned the hard way, my actual experience going from burnt out to full-time in under a year. Why should they listen to you? Authenticity as a skill. Be verifiably human, connected to your experience and emotion. My success has come from sharing my failures, my lessons I learned the hard way. If you ever watched another one of my videos, my authenticity might be why you're watching this one, or maybe it's why you'll watch another one in the future. And here's why this matters to you specifically. As AI gets better at generating information, your authenticity is the only thing that makes you irreplaceable. This is your moat against AI. AI can generate information. Alone, that's just more noise. But it can't generate your story, your failures, your real experience of going from burnt out to full-time in under a year. But before you think I'm saying AI is the enemy and that you should avoid it completely, that's not what I'm saying at all. Everyone has an opinion on AI. Some say it's ruining everything, and others say it's stupid if you don't use it. They're both missing the point. Pandora's box is already open. You can't close it. And no matter how you feel about it, it's here. So what do you do about it? Here's where I draw the line. I use AI almost every day, but there's a specific way that I use it. AI should help you create, not create for you. It is a tool, not a replacement. It can be a sounding board when you're stuck, help you past hurdles that kill your flow, organize your thoughts, rearrange things that would take you hours to puzzle together. In the right context, it can amplify you, but it shouldn't think for you. Let me give you an example. Just last week, I was working with AI on my title strategy. I've been making titles for months and I thought I had it figured out. And then it helped me to see something I had been missing, the difference between acute pain and chronic pain positioning. That's a fancy way of saying make specific titles people actually care about right now instead of something that they know is a problem but isn't urgent. Look at this title that I had made before. How to build a YouTube channel that actually grows. That's a chronic pain. Yeah, people need that, but nobody wakes up thinking, today's the day I need to learn how to build a channel. What does build a channel even mean? Compare that to, stop wasting 20 hours on videos that get 300 views. Do this first. That's acute. This just happened to me and I need an answer right now. And this matters because as competition increases, the difference between a good title and a great title is the difference between 300 and 3,000 views. That one insight from working with AI was, and I hate to use this term, game-changing. It made me want to go back and redo all my old titles. It didn't tell me what to make. It helped me see a pattern I was missing. I still had to understand my niche. I still had to apply it. That's the right use of AI, in my opinion. Amplifying you, not replacing you. And if you want to see exactly how I use AI in my workflow without letting it take over, I made a whole video walking you through the entire process from idea to upload. It's how I make consistent weekly content without burning out. There is a link up there in the corner, and I'll also put it down in the description. And you know I gotta say it, if this is clicking for you, hit the like button. It helps YouTube know that this is valuable. So yeah, you're using AI as a tool, you're being authentic, you're building that library, but there's one more piece that determines whether you can actually stick with this long enough to win. You're making good content, but something feels off. You're following all the advice that works for others, but it doesn't seem to work for you. Why doesn't it feel right? You're building on someone else's foundation, their strengths, their personality, their approach. And maybe it works for a while, but can you sustain it? And this is critical because YouTube is a long-term game. Most creators quit before they get good. The ones who win are the ones who can stick around. I see this all the time in my one-on-one coaching. Creators copying what works for big channels. And yeah, maybe it works for a while, but then I ask them, can you sustain this? Do you actually enjoy the process? Or are you just going through the motions because someone said it works? And I went through this myself. Early on, I tried to match the energy and structure I saw working for other creators, and it felt fake. And then I realized they're building on their strengths, their personality, their approach. I was building on someone else's foundation. When I started leaning into what naturally came to me, my teaching style, my pacing, my stories, everything got easier. Not just easier to make, but the videos performed better. You need to stay in the game long enough to win, and if you don't enjoy the journey, you're going to quit before you get there. Your content needs to fit you, unapologetically you. What do you bring to the table? Your stories, your perspective, your natural strengths. And yeah, it takes practice to be you on camera. It's not that simple. But when you create from your authentic position with intention, something happens. When you're unapologetically you, you connect with your audience, which sends the clearest signal to the algorithm about who you serve. Your audience knows what to expect. They can trust you because you're real. You can actually sustain this for the long term. Those are the 4 rules. Build a bingeable library, be authentically human, use AI to amplify, not replace, fit your content to you. But just knowing them isn't enough. Now that you understand the rules, there's one more trap that I see creators fall into. They go through the checklist. I'm optimizing my thumbnails, I'm writing better titles, posting consistently, and then still nothing happens. What's the difference? Knowing isn't the same as doing. Intention isn't just understanding, it's execution. So if you want to set yourself up to succeed and grow faster than everyone else in 2026, here's what to double down on. Spend more time in ideation. And Patty pointed this out. Successful small channels invest more time in their ideas. Not just what should I make, but who is this for and why do they need it right now? Create for the same person consistently, not different people, not whatever seems to be working this week, the same person with the same problem. That's your signal cutting through the noise. Use AI intentionally as an amplifier for your ideas, not a replacement for them. Double down on what fits you, not what fits others. You're in this for the long haul. Be verifiably human. Your stories, your failures, your experience. That's what AI can't replicate. Everything else is just noise. And it's a roller coaster. You're going to make videos that you're proud of that go nowhere. You're going to second guess everything, but you're also going to find joy in mastering your craft. It's all a part of the journey. The game keeps changing. The creators who win are the ones who cut through the noise with intention, not react to it. Quick thing that I promised, my end screen strategy. Pay attention to what I'm about to say. How I'm not just saying, watch this next. I'll tell you there's something missing, which creates curiosity. That's what makes someone click instead of scroll. Every video should end by identifying the gap that's still there and then pointing to what fills it. That's how you turn one view into 5. But most creators don't have a system to make sure every single video uploaded is with intention. They know what they should do, but they don't have a checklist to actually do it every time. And that's why you need to watch this video. It's the 9 things you must do before uploading to YouTube. Everything you need to check to make sure you're building momentum and not just hoping for it.